The trap is set. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council stood like a temple of power. Tall marble-like walls shimmered with alien light, and the ceiling glowed with slow-moving stars. Leaders of 100 species gathered around the massive, round table, their eyes cold and sharp. They had called this meeting to sign a treaty of peace, or at least that was what they said. Humanity's envoy, Admiral Marcus Hale, entered with measured steps. His boots echoed across the stone floor, but his face was calm, almost too calm. Behind him, only 2 guards followed, both unarmed, at least to the eyes of the watching council. Every alien eye followed the humans. They were newcomers to galactic politics, not yet trusted, not yet respected. Some leaders smiled, but the smiles did not reach their eyes. Others whispered into comms, their claws tapping nervously on hidden devices. Marcus walked to his seat and lowered himself slowly. He scanned the room, and though he did not move his lips, he counted. Too many guards. Too many shadows. He had been in war long enough to know when a trap was waiting. His jaw tightened, but outwardly he kept the same expression, a mask of politeness. The head of the council, an insectoid called Valor, rose from his high chair. His thin mandibles clicked as he spoke. Today is a day of history. The blood of the past can be washed away. Humanity, the youngest race among us, has shown both fire and ambition. Now, let us end this conflict before it spreads further. The words sounded noble, but Marcus noticed the twitch of the alien's antennae. A lie sat hidden inside every syllable. Behind Valor, a squad of armored soldiers shifted their stance. Their hands never moved far from their weapons. A treaty of peace should not need so many guns. Marcus leaned forward. Humanity seeks peace, yes, but peace must be built on truth. If there is no truth, his voice dropped into a deep growl, then there can be no peace. Some of the council members hissed or muttered at his boldness. Others kept silent, their eyes gleaming. They were waiting, watching, testing. The chamber doors closed behind with a heavy thud. The sound echoed like a prison gate. Marcus's guards exchanged a quick glance but said nothing. They were trained to trust their leader's calm. Still, the silence that followed pressed heavy on their chests. Far above the chamber in orbit, the skies looked peaceful. Alien fleets drifted near the station, their weapons hidden but ready. A circle had been drawn around the human delegation, though the galaxy did not yet know it. The council had prepared this carefully. They expected humans to walk into the room unguarded, naive, hopeful. They expected humanity to kneel, but Marcus Hale was not naive. Earth had sent him because he was not the kind of man who trusted smiles. He remembered the wars back home, the betrayals, the cost of every mistake. He remembered the oath. Never again would humans be caught unprepared. Inside the chamber, the council continued with its speeches. A reptilian delegate spread his arms, wide scales glittering under the light. Let us show unity, let us show trust. But his tail lashed against the floor like a whip, betraying his nerves. Another delegate, a tall avian, nodded too quickly, eyes darting to the shadows where guards stood still as statues. Marcus folded his hands. He said nothing more, letting silence sharpen the tension. The council expected fear or eagerness. They found only patience in the human's eyes. And patience from a death-world species was the most dangerous sign of all. The whispers grew louder. One alien commander leaned close to Valor and hissed, "Why are they so calm? They brought so few guards. Why do they not tremble?" Valor's mandibles clicked again, harder this time. He did not answer. Marcus sat back, his face lit by the glow of the ceiling stars. To any outsider, he looked like a man listening to empty words, but deep in his pocket, a silent pulse ticked against his hand. A hidden device, sending quiet signals across space. Signals to the fleet that lurked unseen beyond the station's sensors. The humans had come to the table. Yes, but they had not come unarmed. As the speeches dragged on, Marcus's mind replayed his orders. Show peace, but prepare for war. Let them believe you walked into their trap, let them reveal themselves first. Only then will the galaxy see who the true deceivers are. He knew his people waited in the dark, their ships cloaked, their weapons primed. The council thought they had built a cage. They had no idea that the human fleet had already built one around them. One of the guards shifted behind Marcus, scanning the walls, scanning the shadows. He could feel it too. The air was wrong. Too heavy. Too silent. Even the hum of the council's machines sounded sharp, like knives being drawn. At last, Valor raised a claw. "Bring forth the treaty." A servant scurried forward, holding a glowing tablet. Its surface shined with words that promised peace, unity, an end to bloodshed. Marcus took it in his hands. His eyes read quickly, but he had already guessed what he would see. Hidden terms, hidden chains, promises designed to weaken, not strengthen. It was not a treaty. It was a leash. He lifted his gaze slowly, his eyes locking with Valor's. In that moment, the air itself seemed to pause. The insectoid leader tilted his head, waiting for submission, for the signature that would bind Earth. But Marcus Hale smiled. A small, sharp smile. A smile that said he knew. And somewhere beyond the chamber walls, unseen engines rumbled in silence. The trap had been set, but the council had no idea who had truly walked into it. Shadows behind the smiles, the treaty tablet still lay in front of Admiral Marcus Hale. The surface glowed with false promises, lines of peace wrapped around hidden chains. He placed it down without signing. The council chamber grew tense. Whispers rustled like dry leaves in a storm. The insectoid leader, Valor, tried to hide his impatience. His mandibles clicked softly. "Admiral, is there a problem?" Humanity's voice is respected here. But hesitation. His words trailed off, heavy with warning. Marcus gave a slow nod. His calm expression never changed. "Peace is not signed with paper," he said. "Peace is proven in action." The line spread across the chamber like fire. Some aliens stiffened. Others forced smiles too wide, too sharp. Shadows moved behind those smiles. Movements of soldiers, guards, and hidden watchers. A reptilian delegate leaned forward, scales shimmering under the lights. "Do not mistake this council's kindness for weakness. Sign the treaty, human. Show the galaxy you can be trusted." His golden eyes narrowed, and his tongue flicked out, tasting the tension. Marcus did not flinch. He studied the reptilian, then shifted his gaze to the others. His eyes caught small details. The bird-like delegate whose feathers ruffled each time the guards shifted. The mammal with twitching ears that picked up hidden comms buzzing through the walls. He saw too much nervous energy for a meeting of peace. Behind, Marcus, his two guards stood straight, silent as stone, but their eyes darted left and right. They counted the exits. They measured the distances. One of them, a woman named Kerr, spotted a shadow at the far corner. The figure didn't belong to the council staff. Armor was too thick. The stance was too rigid. She didn't speak, but her hand hovered close to the hidden blade strapped to her boot. The air grew heavier. Every second, more signs appeared. Extra guards entered the balconies, pretending to be security. Council assistants whispered into their devices too quickly. And above the chamber in orbit, alien fleets repositioned themselves. Their engines flared brighter, their ships sliding into new formations like predators circling prey. Marcus's jaw tightened. He tapped the table once, a tiny movement. Kerr and the other guard recognized it instantly. A signal. "Stay ready." From across the table, a thin avian delegate gave a sharp laugh. "Perhaps humans are afraid. Perhaps they came here without trust. That is why they delay." Marcus leaned forward, his voice steady. "Afraid? No, careful, always. Fear builds walls, but careful eyes see what others try to hide." The avian's feathers stiffened, and the smile faded. Somewhere behind the chamber walls, machinery hummed louder. A hidden door shifted slightly. Kerr's hand itched for her weapon. She knew what was coming, even if the council still pretended. Then Valor raised a claw. "Admiral Hale, humanity's history is full of blood and chaos. Do you really want to be remembered as the race that refused peace when it was offered freely? Marcus's eyes locked on him. The silence stretched. Offered freely? He let the words hang in the air. Peace offered at gunpoint is not peace. It is a trick, a leash, and humanity does not wear chains. The words cut the air like a blade. Every delegate froze. Some hissed, some whispered, some tapped frantically at their comms. The shadows behind the smiles grew darker. Far above, on the edge of the station's sensors, the hidden Terran fleet waited in silence. Massive warships drifted unseen, cloaked and patient. Their weapons were already armed, their targeting locked. Every second they received signals from Marcus's device, a pulse, slow and steady. Wait. In the chamber, the tension broke when one alien guard stepped too close. His weapon shifted under his cloak, and the glint of metal flashed for a moment. Kerr's eyes caught it. Her hand slid down to her boot. The council members pretended not to notice, but Marcus did. He leaned back, voice calm as stone. Tell me, Vaylor, if this is peace, why are there so many guns in the shadows? Why does your treaty smell of fear? Vaylor's mandibles snapped once, a sharp sound. Because humans cannot be trusted. The truth slipped out like poison. The chamber grew cold. Marcus smiled. It was not a warm smile. It was the smile of a predator who had seen through the trap. The delegates shifted uncomfortably. Their plan was supposed to be perfect. They expected humans to arrive blind, unguarded, desperate for acceptance. But instead they faced a man who knew too much. And still Marcus said nothing about the fleet above. Nothing about the trap waiting for the council's fleets. His silence was more dangerous than any threat. The reptilian delegate slammed his hand on the table. Enough delays, humanity will sign or humanity will fall. Marcus rose from his seat slowly. His boots echoed on the floor. He stood tall, scanning every corner of the chamber. His words rolled like thunder. Humanity does not fall. Not in war. Not in peace. Not in your games. The guards around the chamber gripped their weapons tighter. The shadows behind the smiles had revealed themselves at last, and still, Admiral Marcus Hale waited. Because he knew something the council did not. Earth never came unprepared. The ambush begins. The chamber was too quiet. Every alien leader sat stiff, their eyes locked on Admiral Marcus Hale. The treaty tablet still glowed on the table, its false promises shining like a trap bait. Marcus did not move toward it. His stillness was the loudest answer of all. Then, with a sudden crash, the silence broke. The doors at the far end of the chamber burst open. Dozens of armored guards stormed in, weapons drawn. Their armor shined, with the crest of the council. The council leaders did not cry out in shock, they did not even move. This was no accident. This was the moment they had planned all along. One of the guards pointed a plasma rifle at Marcus. Sign the treaty now, he barked, or humanity's story ends here. Kerr, Marcus's bodyguard, shifted half a step forward, her hand on the hidden blade at her boot. The second guard tensed as well, muscles coiled like steel. Marcus lifted one hand slightly, stopping them. His face did not change. So this is peace? He asked softly. His voice carried across the chamber like iron scraping stone. Guns at our backs, weapons in the shadows. You mistake surrender for peace. The reptilian delegate sneered. You speak too boldly, human. You forget whose house you stand in. You forget whose law rules this galaxy. But Marcus did not look afraid. He leaned forward, his eyes sharp as blades. Humanity forgets nothing. Not the betrayals, not the wars, not the blood already spilled. And we do not kneel. The guards closed in, their rifles glowing brighter. The tension was so thick, even. The air seemed ready to break, and then it did. The first shot fired. A bolt of energy sizzled across the chamber, slamming into the floor inches from Marcus's boots. Smoke curled up from the crack. The council pretended it was a warning shot. But Marcus knew better. Seize them, Vaylor hissed. His mandibles snapped with rage. The guards lunged forward. Kerr moved like lightning. Her hidden blade flashed, cutting through the first soldier's weapon arm before he could fire again. Blood sprayed and the alien screamed. The second guard slammed into another attacker, sending him crashing into the marble wall. Marcus did not flinch. He rose slowly, eyes burning like fire. His hand brushed his pocket, pressing the small device once. A silent signal pulsed through the void of space. Far above the station, in the dark emptiness, the Terran fleet awoke. Massive warships uncloaked, their black hulls shining like beasts of the abyss. Engines flared, cannons powered up. One by one, Earth's ships revealed themselves, forming a steel circle around the Council fleets. Inside the chamber, chaos erupted. Plasma bolts filled the air. The human guards ducked and rolled, blades flashing, stealing weapons from fallen attackers. Kerr fired a captured rifle, the blast tearing through 2 armored soldiers in a single shot. Marcus stood tall in the middle of it all, unmoving, unafraid. "Is this how you wanted peace?" he shouted above the chaos. His voice thundered across the chamber. "Then let the galaxy see the truth." Outside, the first human warship opened fire. Beams of light tore through the darkness, slamming into alien cruisers that had been waiting in ambush. Explosions blossomed like burning stars. The trap the Council had set had become their own cage. Back in the chamber, the reptilian delegate screamed, "You brought weapons! You dare break the treaty!" Marcus turned his gaze on him, cold and merciless. "You brought the trap. We brought the answer." Another guard rushed forward, blade raised high. Kerr intercepted, driving her weapon through his chest. Sparks flew as plasma rifles fired wildly, scorching the walls. The grand chamber shook from both the battle inside and the war raging outside. The Council leaders finally realized their mistake. Their plan was crumbling. Instead of breaking humanity, they had revealed their own treachery to the galaxy. Every hidden weapon, every false promise, every shadow, now exposed in fire and blood. Marcus lifted his chin. He knew the moment had come. He spoke slowly, every word a hammer strike. "Earth never trusted your peace. Earth never came unarmed. And Earth never fights alone." Above, the Terran fleet closed tighter around the alien armada. One by one, enemy ships fell silent, exploding into clouds of fire. The Council members trembled in their chairs, their power slipping away with every blast. In the chamber, the last of the guards fell. Kerr and her partner stood bloodied but alive, weapons hot in their hands. Marcus looked at the Council, their faces pale with fear. "You wanted an ambush," he said. "But it is you who stand ambushed." The lights flickered. Smoke filled the chamber. Outside, the roar of warships echoed like thunder. The ambush had begun, but not the way the Council expected. Humanity's hidden hand. The chamber shook again. As another blast thundered from orbit, alien delegates clutched their seats, eyes wide with terror. Smoke curled through the air vents, filling the Council hall with the smell of fire and fear. Admiral Marcus Hale stood tall in the chaos, his voice cutting through the noise like steel. "This is your peace," he said coldly. "A trap dressed as kindness, but humanity came ready." Valor, the insectoid leader, slammed a claw on the table. His mandibles snapped as he shouted, "Impossible! Your fleet was counted. We saw your ships. You had nothing but a handful of carriers." Marcus's lips curved into the faintest smile. "You counted what we wanted you to count." Outside, the void trembled. More Terran ships uncloaked. Massive dreadnoughts with black armor and crimson lights, weapons glowing like the eyes of giants. They appeared in silence, one after another, until the stars themselves seemed to vanish behind them. The reptilian delegate hissed in panic. "They were hidden, in the dark zones, behind our own fleets." "Yes," Marcus said. "And now, your fleets are trapped in the same circle they built for us." The Council chamber erupted into frightened shouting. Some leaders begged for calm, others demanded to flee, but the exits were sealed. Human guards, bloodied but unbroken, stood firm at Marcus's side. Their rifles glowed, aimed at the nearest soldiers still loyal to the Council. On the massive view screens along the wall, the Council delegates saw the impossible. Their fleets outnumbered, surrounded, outgunned. The Terran warships moved in perfect silence as if the entire human fleet was one machine, one beating heart. A massive explosion tore through the void, shaking the station. An alien cruiser had tried to break free. It never made it past the Terran line. Beams of light cut it in half, its wreckage spinning into the darkness. The avian delegate rose, feathers trembling. This cannot be. You are a death world race, but you do not have such numbers. Where did these ships come from? Marcus's eyes narrowed. From Earth's silence. From the years you mocked us, ignored us, underestimated us. You thought we were weak because we spoke of peace, but we built in the shadows. We forged steel where you never looked. We hid our true hand until the moment was right. The chamber went dead silent. The weight of his words pressed down on every alien leader. They had laughed at Earth. They had dismissed humanity as children of a violent world. Now they realized their mistake. Valor hissed in rage. You dare threaten the Council itself? You will bring the wrath of every empire upon your people. Marcus's voice dropped, low and sharp. The wrath of every empire already fell on us when you planned this betrayal. You brought the war here, not us. But you forgot one thing. He leaned forward, his eyes like fire. Humans fight hardest when cornered, and you just locked yourselves in the cage. Outside, more alien ships tried to move, engines flaring desperately. The Terran fleet responded with brutal precision. Railguns fired, shredding enemy hulls like paper. Torpedoes streaked through the void, ripping apart carriers. The circle grew tighter, every exit sealed by human steel. Inside, the reptilian delegate slammed his claws on the table. You will not win. You cannot hold the galaxy forever. Marcus tilted his head, calm and certain. We don't need forever. We only need this moment. This moment where the galaxy sees who you truly are. The Council of Peace plotting murder in the shadows. And humanity, the so-called savages, standing here alive while your fleets burn. The words hit harder than any weapon. The truth could not be hidden anymore. Even the Council's own members looked at each other with shame and fear. Some shifted in their seats, suddenly realizing the trap they had supported was collapsing not just their fleets, but their credibility. Kerr, standing at Marcus's side, whispered, Admiral, their soldiers are losing ground. They'll break soon. Marcus gave a single nod. He looked at the Council one last time. Humanity does not seek blood. But we will not bow. We will not forget. And we will not forgive betrayal. Outside, the Terran fleet held fire for a moment, a deadly silence spreading across the stars. Every alien ship hung trembling, knowing one command could erase them all. Marcus let the silence stretch, long enough for every leader to feel the weight of Earth's hidden hand. Then he spoke, calm and final. This is not the end of peace. This is the end of lies. The view screens flickered with burning ships. The chamber smelled of fear. And for the first time, the Council of the Galaxy realized humanity had come, not to beg but to rule. Marcus gave a single nod. He looked at the Council one last time. Humanity does not seek blood. But we will not bow. We will not forget. And we will not forgive betrayal. Outside, the Terran fleet held fire for a wee moment, a deadly silence spreading across the stars. Every alien ship hung trembling, knowing one command could erase them all. Marcus let the silence stretch, long enough for every leader to feel the weight of Earth's hidden hand. Then he spoke, calm and final. This is not the end of peace. This is the end of lies. The view screens flickered with burning ships, the chamber smelled of fear, and for the first time the Council of the Galaxy realized humanity had come not to beg, but to rule. Earth's shadow falls. The galaxy thought it had seen the worst of humanity's rage. They were wrong. From the edge of known space, shadows moved. At first, the alien fleets believed they were chasing rumors. Entire sectors had gone silent, no distress signals, no survivors, only cold silence. Planets that once boasted trade and life now hung empty, darkened as if a giant hand had snuffed out their light. Whispers spread across the galaxy. Earth's shadow is here. The Council tried to calm the panic. They claimed it was only terror, tactics, exaggerations born from fear. But even the council members locked their doors tighter at night, afraid of what they knew was true. Humanity's fleets were advancing, and nothing could stop them. On the surface of Kalor Prime, AIQ, proud capital of a council-aligned species, the people woke to darkness. The sky was filled, not with suns, but with Earth's warships. Thousands of massive black carriers blocked out the light, stretching from horizon to horizon. The streets froze. Children pointed upward. Merchants dropped their goods. Soldiers trembled where they stood. Then came the message. The human admiral's voice was calm, steady, but it carried more weight than 1,000 guns. We gave you law. We gave you mercy. You answered with execution. Now we give you silence. One system after another, until the council is dust. Kalor Prime resisted. Their fleets launched everything they had. Missiles, beams, swarm drones. It didn't matter. Humanity didn't fight back in a wild storm of fire. They dismantled the enemy fleets like a surgeon with a blade. One strike, one ship gone. Cold, exact, merciless. In less than an hour, Kalor Prime's skies were clear. Its fleets were ashes. Its capital stood under the watch of Earth's carriers. No bombs fell, no cities burned. Humanity didn't need to waste their weapons. The message was already delivered. Every world in the galaxy watched in horror. The extermination protocol wasn't destruction for its own sake. It was the slow crushing of pride, of hope, of defiance. Earth wasn't just ending lives. They were ending the Council's authority. On the Council floor, the surviving leaders argued in chaos. Some demanded surrender. Others wanted to unleash forbidden weapons. A few whispered that perhaps, the Council had made a mistake, but it was too late. The shadow of Earth had fallen, and every species now realized the same truth. The galaxy had executed one human, and in return, Earth had executed the future. Earth's last word, the Galactic Council chamber, was silent. Every alien delegate sat frozen, their eyes locked on the massive screen above. Humanity's fleet hovered in space, hundreds of ships glowing. With cold fire, their weapons aimed at the stars. The Council had tried to look strong. They had claimed authority, demanded obedience, and even executed Earth's envoy. But now, with Earth's full fleet revealed, no one dared to speak. At the center of the chamber, the High Speaker of the Council trembled. He had faced countless wars. He had ruled systems with fear. But this was different. Open channel to Earth, he whispered. His voice cracked. A human face appeared on the screen. It was Admiral Kane. His uniform was black, simple, without gold or jewels. But his eyes burned with a power no alien ruler had ever seen. This council has made its choice, Kane said. His voice was steady like cold steel. You claimed power over us. You murdered our envoy. You thought Earth would kneel. You were wrong. The words hit the chamber like a storm. Delegates shifted in fear. Some whispered in panic. Others lowered their heads, ashamed. Kane leaned closer to the screen. Earth does not serve. Earth does not bow. We rise. And when we rise, the galaxy shakes. Behind him, the fleet moved. Enormous carriers opened their bays, revealing rows of glowing weapons. Battleships aligned in perfect formation. A wall of firepower stretched across the stars, enough to burn entire empires to ash. The High Speaker swallowed hard. Admiral Kane, the Council, we can still what? Kane cut him off. Still threaten us? Still pretend you hold authority? No, the time for games is over. He raised a hand, and for a moment the fleet's weapons charged. The chamber shook as power surged across the screens. Delegates screamed. Some ran from their seats. But Kane did not give the order to fire. He only let the silence drag on until fear filled every corner of the room. Then he spoke. Listen well. Earth will not conquer your worlds. We do not want your crowns. We do not want your slaves. But if you raise your hand against us again, if you harm even one more human, then we will end you. Not your ships, not your armies. You." He paused, his eyes scanning the faces of the council. "We will burn out your thrones. We will shatter your empires. And we will leave your worlds free of your chains. That is Earth's word." The threat was clear. Not conquest, not endless war. Justice. Justice carried by fire. The council chamber was filled with silence again. No one dared to answer. Finally, Cain gave the last message. "This is the last time I will speak to you as a warning. Remember it well. Earth does not kneel." The screen went dark. For a long moment the council chamber remained frozen. Then one delegate, small, gray-skinned, trembling, whispered the words that spread like fire through the galaxy. "They are not like us. They are something else. They are human." Far above the council world, the human fleet stood ready, but it did not fire. Instead, it turned, moving in perfect order back toward the stars. Humanity had made its point. On every planet, in every system, news spread. The council had been broken, not by war, but by a single truth spoken with strength. Earth was no longer a world begging for a seat. Earth was no longer a child in the galaxy. Earth was the storm that no one could control, and from that day on, the galaxy lived with a new law written in fire: never challenge humanity.